Welcome back to our post-draft stream of the Purple Rain podcast. First and foremost, like the video. Let's get out the way. First thing I say, like the video. But thank you for coming through episode 168 of the Purple Rain podcast. The Brandon McKinney, the AQ Shipley, the Matt Skura, the Brent Urban episode
Go
of
off.
the Purple Rain podcast. Not a lot of names that are like Ravens history there, but names nonetheless. But thank you for coming through, spending your Monday evening with the Rain Gang. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. Follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter at SuttonDef. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod, on Twitter at simplyas10, and most importantly, sponsor Manscaped. Can't talk about it enough. I really can't. If you got a man in your life, hey, maybe even a female. Females do get nose hairs. That's all I'm saying. You can go online, get something nice, put it in your cart. While you're checking out, use code PRP, 20% off. I actually just bought a sweatshirt from Nike yesterday. The Ted Lasso. Heard that show?
Yeah.
Great show. I got the sweatshirt. Nike everything. It was like $15, like shipping. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And it's not going to be here for like another week. So, PRP, we got you hooked up. 20% off and the free shipping. Come on now.
Can't beat that. Mod K-Dog says it best here himself. PRP is sponsored by Manscaped. Use that code PRP for 20% off plus the free shipping. What's going on, guys? What's going on, Rain Gang? What's going on, Live Chat? What's going on, Replay Gang? Hold on. Wait a minute. If you're not watching this live right now, you are part of the hashtag Replay Gang. Thank you guys so much for coming through to this episode 168 of the Purple Rain podcast. We're going to do what we used to do. We haven't done it in a while. We're going to take a moment of silence for you guys to like the video, okay? Starting now. All right. Hopefully you've liked the video by now. If you have not liked the video already, please consider liking the video. It helps us out a ton. Yeah. Like I said, again, welcome back to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. We got plenty to get into on this episode. It's a very special episode because the first episode after the conclusion of the NFL draft, the 2023 NFL draft, and our third annual NFL draft here on the Purple Rain podcast YouTube channel. So we got a lot to talk about. Hopefully you guys can stick around and get through the whole thing with us. We got 5 draft picks we got to break down. Then we're gonna grade each and every draft pick, right? And then we're gonna grade the Ravens draft as a whole. And we want the Rain Gang, we want the Replay Gang, we want the comment section to all be a part of this. So make sure you're dropping what you think about each draft pick down below. Alex, is there anything else I should be getting into before we start this up?
No, not really. I mean, we do have news that we'll talk about toward the back end of the show. Kind of negative news for us, I know. Yeah. But besides that, we're starting with the draft.
All right, well, let's go ahead and rock and roll. So, like I said, kicking off the show are Ravens draft grades for this year. All right, so obviously the first one, we were on live when this one dropped. Zay Flowers, round 1, pick 22 from Boston College. I guess we can go over it again, right? Simply, what was your knee-jerk reaction to Zay Flowers being picked by the Ravens in round 1? And what do you give this as a draft grade?
So I kind of predicted this. I'm like, well, I'm probably gonna look back at this, sleep on it, and I would like it. And that's exactly what I did. I slept on it, caught some Z's, and I woke up. I'm like, you know what? That's a pretty good pick. And hearing Steve Smith speak so highly of him, hearing Louis Riddick talk about how that was the pick of the draft, and just hearing a bunch of the people kind of talking about this receiver, it makes me feel good. And then seeing everybody else kind of what he does, watching him play, he gets that yak, which is something I know us as Ravens fans really we want out of our receivers because we're so used to running the ball and we'd have receivers who would just catch the ball and kind of, get tackled or, go out of bounds, something like that. We have somebody who's fighting for yards. So me personally, I know you'll get into it too. I give it a B+. I don't think it was, an A+, but it fills the need. I maybe would have preferred cornerback there, but at the same time, cornerbacks really didn't go like that. You had like your top batch, and then like we saw Joey Porter go 32. I don't think a cornerback was drafted the rest of the first first round. Could be wrong. I'm running on like no sleep, but I'll give it a B plus. What about you?
I think a B plus is very, very fair. I would, hmm, yeah, you know what? I'm right there with you. I got to give it a B plus, and the reason why is because I think that it gets a B. It gets the good side of the grade because it fits perfectly into the puzzle of our wide receiving core. We have guys that can line up on the outsides. We have guys who can work in the intermediate, things like that. Guys who are a little bit taller, more type X receivers, but we were lacking what we lost in Hollywood, right? So like the deep threat, and I think that's what Zay Flowers is going to be able to provide for us. Now, the only other thing why I don't give it an A is because I do have concerns about maybe him getting bullied around in his first season. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's 5'9", 180 pounds. That can get pushed around. I mean, Rashad Bateman said it himself after his rookie season. Like the biggest surprise that he had out of his rookie season was just how strong the guys at the professional level were. So I think that Zay Flowers is going to have that same exact experience, and I think he'll end up being okay. I think high end, ceiling for him, he's the next Tyreek Hill, right? Because like we said, like you said, he's more physical than receivers that we've had in the past, aka Hollywood Brown. You know, he's more physical at the point of attack. So overall, I do like the pick. I will say B plus. I want to see what the Rain Gang is saying in here as well. But what else you got to say about it?
So it's also no diss to Hollywood, by the way. I think they're two different players. I agreed with like the comparison at first, but then like I kind of like sat back. I didn't sit here and analyze every draft pick before the draft. Afterwards, I looked at it. You say Tyreek. I say, well, I heard it from Steve Smith. His high end potential is actually Tyreek Hill's partner in crime, Jalen Waddle. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I've seen AB, I've seen Jalen Waddle, I've seen Tyler Lockett, all as his comparisons. Either three of those, I really wouldn't care less because that is
Yeah.
productivity and a high end receiver that we simply, and they're all Pro Bowl receivers, something that we haven't developed, by the way. So I take every single one of them.
Yeah. No. I mean, what this really? Let's talk about this. What does? Let me ask this question to you, Alex, and the rest of the Rain Gang as well. What does this pick mean uh, for the Ravens? Like, what are their intentions behind this pick? Does this mean that we are truly all in on offense this
Yeah.
season? Because I mean, we're going for another wide receiver in the first round. We clearly,
Yeah.
had a bigger need at like cornerback and things like that. Do you think the Ravens are all in with this pick?
I think they are. I think they're giving Todd Monken some new toys to play with. And that's
Yes.
kind of something that I know me and you have harped on, and the Rain Gang as well. We talked about McDonald. We're like, keep that same energy with Monken. And so
Yeah.
far, they have. I mean, granted, he didn't get his Marcus Williams like Mike McDonald got. I was hoping that would be D Hop. Honestly, I don't know what's going with D Hop right now. It feels like it's a really weird situation with him and the Cardinals. I don't know if he's going to get traded, but I feel like this is a pretty good backup plan, and I feel like we have receivers that can, do it all, So it does make me feel good. What do you think though?
No, I mean, I agree. You bring up a solid point with Todd Monken. Sports Gaming YouTube says it here to give Todd Monken a weapon to play with. Yeah, I mean, Todd Monken, he's got his work cut out for him in a very good way. Lots of great weapons. Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, and that's not even to mention some of the lower guys on the totem pole. Nelson Aguilar, I know a lot of people like to take a crap on him, but he's a solid piece when you get to like a wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4. We still got Devin Duvernay, who had a really good year last year. His best season of his career last year. So I think there's a lot of promise there. And then on top of it all, Mark Andrews is the cherry on top for me, because he's always been the security blanket there. So add him in with another, lot of just distracting receivers for a defense, and like anybody's going to be open at any given time. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find this really interesting stat about Todd Monken and how he used 11 personnel. I think we only used 11 personnel like 11% of the time last year, and Todd Monken using a lot more. Kind of shows that we're going to have Odell, Bateman, and Zay Flowers all in the field at the same time. And guess what? It'll be a passing play. It won't be a running play. It won't be some disguise, some BS screen. That's something I'm really excited for, and kind of why like I still wanted D Hop too with that. But I think about the receivers that Monken has had before. He had Godwin, he had Evans. I know he had Adam Humphries too. They were all getting usage. Humphries, I think got himself a contract elsewhere with the Titans. So every receiver in his system produces. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Zay Flowers can get a 1,000-yard receiving season his rookie year. What I do expect if he's fully healthy, correct me if I'm wrong, at least like 650 and like 4 touchdowns. I don't think
That,
that's too crazy thing.
wait, for who? For who again?
Zay Flowers.
For Zafa. 650 and 4 touchdowns. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. I mean, the only thing is, like you said, we've got a lot of different weapons, man. A lot of different weapons, and there's only one ball to go around.
Mm-hmm.
So Todd Monken, he did do a good job at other teams and making sure that the ball was getting spread around. And I think naturally, Lamar Jackson as a passer, he knows how to spread it around. People think that
Yep.
he only hones in on Andrews, but that's mainly when Andrews is the only one getting open. So
Yep.
I think that is going to be really, really good. It's going to bode very well for our offense. Now, Mod K Dog here says it's clearly Super Bowl or bust. Question: if we don't hit that mark, so Super Bowl, who is the first to get the blame? Alex?
I'll say it. The quarterback. That's how it's gonna be. He got his money. He's getting
Yeah.
some flashy new toys. Now,
Yep.
granted, I think I forget who said in the chat. You made a really good point as to why it should be an A. Spencer, you said we have only added Odell at a namesake, not a diss to Nelson. Why wouldn't a wide receiver be an A? Just my thought. Odell gets again, and we have the worst receiving room again. That is very true. That's a great point. I did not think about. Kind of why I still want a D Hop as well. I still wouldn't mind just getting another receiver.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as to who it would blame to answer K-Dog's question, it's going to come back to the quarterback. The same way it always does. The same way when it's not even the quarterback's fault, it ends up being the quarterback's fault. And they're going to say, well, you can't blame on the contract anymore because you got that. You can't blame on the weapons because you have them. You can't blame on the offensive coordinator because you have that now. A lot of pressure on number 8.
I think that you have to add. There is pressure. I think because it's more of a no excuses year than ever before. But I think you also have to factor in the fact that the head coach, is probably going to face a lot of the heat as well. Historically, when teams have already paid their franchise quarterback and things aren't going well after a couple of seasons, they get the coach up out of there. They try to, do a little coaching carousel and see if that can spark some change. We came very close to it a couple of years ago, right before Lamar Jackson got here. So I think that it depends on the context of which we fall short, or if we were to fall short this season. How does it happen? Is it coaching blunders? Is it Lamar just simply playing bad? Like, we have to see what happens. But I do think that it is between quarterback and head coach.
Yeah. I do agree there. I see we have our first super chat from Asmodeus. He says, I'll be honest, I don't like the Hollywood Tyreek Hill comp as only accounting for weight and height. On screen, he plays physical like Steve Smith, but elusive to tackles like AB. Did you watch some of his highlights by any chance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There was one where, granted, it is Boston College. It's not, LSU, Bama, Clemson. But he made this catch over like 2 defenders. Like, they were like closing in. He like caught it in the breadbasket and still scored. There's ones where he's running full speed, stops, pulls back. Defenders just go flying, makes them look silly. It's stuff like that you really can't teach. And to your point about being elusive, 1,000,000%. And even the Steve Smith comp, I think they were playing Clemson or Notre Dame, and he just took a hit on the sideline. Other guy falls to the ground, and he lets him know that he just bodied him. That I absolutely love.
Well, see, and I made this point in the YouTube short that I made directly after us drafting Zay Flowers. I do think that Zay Flowers is Hollywood 2.0. A lot of people think it's a bad thing when I say that, but it's not. It's really not. When I say Hollywood 2.0, I mean, yes, of course, the size and their build is similar, but I also think their game is kind of similar as well. People forget how shifty Hollywood Brown was. Just a couple of years ago, I went to a Ravens versus Vikings regular season game, right? Hollywood had himself a game that day. And like, he was shifty as ever. He was getting to where he wanted on the field, getting to a spot consistently. Hollywood, we cannot slander Hollywood like he's a bad receiver. I think that Zay Flowers is Hollywood 2.0, and by 2.0, I mean an improvement upon the design. An improvement upon the design in the way that you said. He's more physical. He's not the guy who's going to get down and, fall down when he's in between 1 or 2 defenders. Like, he's not that guy, So that's why I say that he's Hollywood 2.0, because they have a similar game, similar play style from what I've seen, similar build, but just that improvement is just the physicality. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do want to thank all 65 people watching right now and
Yes.
33 likes. That's
Mm,
a little 1 and 2 liking the video. So thank you very much, everybody who's liked the video. If you haven't, like it. That's a lot for the channel. Thank you very much.
yes,
So yeah,
absolutely.
that is for Zay Flowers.
Yeah, thank you so
Let's
much for your
see.
super chat donation again, Asmodeus. We really do appreciate it. Making it rain here in this episode of PRP.
Yes.
Okay.
I see Black Nana says Mark Andrews should be breathing a sigh of relief. You can plague at him and forget about the other threats on the field. That's the difference, and it's big. 1
Yeah.
million percent. Like, it's about time. Well, we said this in 2021. When we got Watkins, we had Bateman, we drafted him in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence that Mark Andrews just had his best season of his career? Was statistically the best tight end in the league when we actually had other receivers too?
Nope.
No. It's gonna happen again this year. Don't take the over on the Mark Andrews yards. I'm just to tell that right now. I would. It's going to be a good year for number 89.
Absolutely. I mean, and when you consider the type of receivers we have crisp route runners, guys who can get open early. Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr. They're going to have to put a lot more attention and focus on those sides of the field, wherever those guys are at, which will open up more opportunities for Mark Andrews wherever he wants, pretty much. So, yeah, excited to see what Mark Andrews can do this season. All right.
I say likely too. Hey,
That's it.
hey.
Kolar, I don't know. I mean, there's only one football to go around, but
Right.
you never know. We never know. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Ravens' second pick of the draft, which actually came in the third round, pick number 86. It's gonna be inside linebacker Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. Alex, I'm gonna let you lead on this one again. Your knee-jerk reaction to it and your overall draft grade and why.
Knee jerk. Okay, mind you, this comes with a lot of bias. Unfortunately, knee jerk. I hated it. So I'm like,
Mm,
bro, like obviously I'm we're both huge Patrick Queen fans, and this kind of was
right.
like, well, does this mean he's leaving? Because I see linebacker. Then I kind of sat back, got out of my feelings, looked at it as a rational human being, which most people should. I'm like, wait a second. Watching what he does, looking at his grades, and looking at what the experts are saying. I'm like, bro, we just got an athletic freak. All right, I know we said that about Odafe Owe, but this guy literally played. He's like if Chuck Clark was bigger, not trying to compare this, but like he's as versatile. He literally plays everywhere on defense. He played as an edge rusher. He played I think in the nickel. He played in the he just plays everywhere. So now looking back at it, I do like this pick a lot. I'm gonna give it an A minus. I don't know how he fell to the third round. I think this was probably our best or our second best pick of the draft. I think he will allow Mike McDonald to get low crazy, have some fun. So I'll give this an A minus.
For me, I had to give this one a solid C. I had to give it a solid C, only because I feel like with your first round pick, yeah, of course, go best player available, you know. But after, midway through second round and third round, it kind of starts to be a little bit more of a crapshoot, right? There's less guarantees on who's going to be good and who's not. So I think at that point you should go after your needs in the draft. Excuse me. And I don't think that inside linebacker was one of the most glaring needs that we had. I think that we could have maybe went after a cornerback in round number 3 and like actually got a much more higher rated one. But that was just me. But I say all that. I can also say that I do like what I see from Trenton Simpson, what I watch on tape, and what I read off of his draft profile as well. A couple of things that I took from it. I mean, like you said, he's kind of like a Swiss Army knife on defense, man. He can line up anywhere, and that's great for Mike McDonald. I mean, it, in any place that you work, any workplace, the more versatile you are as an employee, the better you are, and the more likely you're going to be on the field. So I really like that about him. He really does blow up plays really well, especially for a younger player. A lot of his highlights are you see him blowing up screens and just like having a heavy pursuit to the ball. Another thing I really liked about him, his pursuit. The pursuit is relentless, man. He takes great angles to the ball carrier, no matter who it is, quarterback, running back, wide receiver. He can stick with tight ends, dropping back in coverage. Like he's not afraid to get depth in coverage. A lot of linebackers, you play uh like three like Tampa
Yeah,
defense,
Tampa
right?
too.
So like Tampa 2, where you have like your middle linebacker who also has to drop out in coverage. He feels comfortable doing things like that. So like I can't objectively say that I don't like the pick. Um, the only reason why I can say it is because it just wasn't our biggest position of need. So that's why I have it right in the middle,
Yeah.
C, average. We'll see what happens though.
I do respect that. Say that I do respect that. And I like that you're standing by it. One thing that I found was crazy is that Zay Flowers ran a 4.42 40-yard dash. Trent Simpson ran a 4.43. Like,
Man,
really. So I think I see EDC's vision. He's trying to build this defense with athletic freaks. We've seen Owe. Owe had that disgusting combine, which really just knocked up his stock all the way to a first round pick for only having, I
right.
think, what, he didn't have any sacks that 1 year in
No sacks.
college.
No, yeah, no
Yeah,
sacks his senior year.
yeah. So I'm starting to see the vision because I know he was talking about how you have to get the quarterback quick in this NFL.
Yeah.
Maybe he views him more as, and I don't want to compare him, but to his play style of a Micah Parsons, you know?
Mm.
So maybe he thinks he can get the quarterback quicker, get that ball out quicker, make that quarterback make a mistake, get some interceptions. I'm not too sure, but he loves himself a good athletic freak. So I'm gonna say, hey, if
You
you
know
want an
who?
athletic freak, DK Metcalf, DK Zacharias, that's an athletic freak.
Just saying. If we want to really throw things over the top. But look, man, I do think before we get to our next super chat donation, which I do see in there from my guy as Modius, don't worry, bro, we're getting right around to you. Um, what do you think about a comparison between Trenton Simpson and Tyus Bowser? Because Tyus Bowser is another one of those linebackers on our team. You can kind of put him anywhere, plug and play him
Yeah.
anywhere. So do you think that he's more of a replacement for maybe PQ, or maybe is it Tybo?
That's a great point you make because outside of Tyus Bowser, who do we have as an edge rusher that can drop back into coverage?
Yeah, you got me there.
And his contract, I think, is up after this year too.
Mm. Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
that's a great point you make. That maybe all of us thought the wrong replacement. We really could have, because that is a great point you make.
I think so. I think so. But we do have a super chat donation. This one's coming from Asmodeus Donatos. Again, man, we appreciate you. Throwing the 5 piece in the chat, making it rain. Says, all I want to say, EDC's best draft picks have all been BPA. Also, McDonald's. Thank you, bro. We appreciate that. We appreciate you. All his best picks have been BPA. Is that a fact?
Let's talk about his best picks. I think Dobbins. Well, we know what Dobbins can be, but unfortunately, he got hurt at the wrong time. But
Right.
when I think of his best picks, so we have 2019. None of those guys panned out, unfortunately. Hollywood did, but he's not with us anymore.
Right. Can't count it.
Matty BK looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, but the fact that that's the first one we can come up with is kind of telling.
Hamilton, I think Hamilton. That's like when I think of his BPA, that's Hamilton immediately.
Yeah,
I think he'll be a stud. So could be.
Yeah, I mean,
Could be.
yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes moving forward. We do have 80 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for coming through this
Can we
episode
get to
of the
40
Purple Rain
likes?
Podcast. Yeah, go ahead and like the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new and you are enjoying
I'll say
content. Go ahead.
I want 50 likes so the kids don't eat.
Oh,
I had to pull it out.
no.
I had to pull
I
it
knew that
out.
was coming. I knew that
I
was
had to
coming.
pull it out.
Listen, man. If y'all care about the kids, y'all want to make sure that they eat, like the video. Please like the video for the kids. All right. Let's see what's else.
D3 says compare him to Isaiah Simmons. I like that one because Isaiah Simmons, he was like the Swiss Army knife. I saw it on NFL Network. I don't know. That's what I watched for the draft. NFL Network. That was a great draft pick. Had me locked in the whole way. They had the comparison to Devin White, which maybe kind of thought fans to believe the whole he's taking over for PQ because they're both same position, but I like that one a lot better. D3, good one.
Okay. Cam agrees, says it's for Tyus Bowser. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the third draft pick that the Ravens made. This one came in round number 4, pick number 124. That's edge rusher Tavius Robinson out of Ole Miss, actually by way of Canada. Fun fact. So Alex, again, starting with you here. Knee-jerk reaction, draft grade, and why?
I'll be honest, this is one of the few people I had no video for. He must have just slipped under my radar. I put it together real quick. I was like, because I was swore we were gonna get a corner here. I was like, we have to get a corner here. I'm like, Darius Rush is on the board from some South Carolina, and then I was like, so I sat back. It's nothing that I'm gonna sit here and act like he's gonna be a day one impact because he's a 4th-round pick. But I think it's one for maybe 2, 3 years down the line. This guy's gonna. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna predict this: 2 sacks this year, maybe 2.5, 3 next year. 3rd year, 4. His 4th year, the contract year, double digits, and then he outplays himself out of a contract, a la Matt Judon, Zadarius Smith, Pernell McPhee. We've seen it how many times before where these guys just first 3 years kind of silent, the 4th year they step it up.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go like B minus C plus. Like I said, I don't expect it to be a day one impact, but we do need edge rush depth when you look at it.
Yeah, I was definitely giving this one a D. Giving this pick a D for sure.
Ooh.
Didn't like it.
Okay.
After I looked at the tape, I mean, he looks like any other kind of low ranked edge rusher with a couple of highlights on YouTube. I don't mean to like throw shots at the guy or anything like that, but for our 4th-round pick, like you said, I was expecting corner all the way, all the way. It's like at this point, I'm looking at my watch, like, okay, how many corners are we gonna let get taken off of the board before we get our guy? You know, and we'll get to corner in a second, obviously. But it was just annoying. It was just annoying seeing that, and you know, the things that I read up on him about, and the things that I also saw on tape. He does have good size, but his hands are inconsistent. You know, for his size, so he can get stood up a lot and get basically washed out of a play completely. And that's just not something that we need. We need guys who can get home on edge rusher because we know what Mike McDonald wants to do. He wants to rush 4. He's not rushing 5 and 6 and blitzing a whole lot like Wink did. So you have to be able to win your one-on-one matchups. And this guy, from what I've seen, he just hasn't really been able to consistently do that at all. And if he hasn't been able to consistently do that at the college level, I really don't see him doing that at the professional level. So I don't know. I gave this one a D.
I like that. I like how you explain your pick. So here's kind of what made me give the C plus B minus. Last season, he had 7 sacks, 8 tackles for losses, and 5 forced fumbles, second in the FBS. That's what I was like, okay, well, maybe they see something that we don't. But at the same time, we have Owe, we have Ojabo. We're probably going to re-sign a veteran edge rusher. How much time is this guy really going to have to play? You know, we saw with Dalen Hayes, who like he literally just disappeared. You know, we've seen it go time and time with guys before. They just don't make the roster. So I just don't want this to be a wasted pick.
Right.
Fingers crossed. That's all. Stats look good from last year, but will it translate to the NFL? That's the question. And I see why you gave it a D or D plus.
Yeah, solid D for me there. All right, so next pick is going to be in round 5, cornerback Caillou Blue Kelly, and that is how it is pronounced.
Yeah.
Round 5, pick 157 out of Stanford. Alex, your reactions?
It was about time we got a corner. I think we were all waiting for a corner.
Yeah.
Like, we need one. My question here is, did we just get a Jalen Armour Davis or did we get a Tariq Woolen? Because they both went, I think, in the 4th round last year. And, you know, I know this is the 5th round, but there's the 2 sides of the late round picks. Either it's like a guy who is promise and then gets stashed in the IR. There's another guy who just balls out the whole year. I'm hoping it's a Tariq Woolen side. Louis Riddick, he did talk high of it. I think he talked about his pros and cons. I think he said he's better in man, I believe. I could be wrong. It was either he's really good in man and like kind of poor in zone or one of the two.
No, it was a zone. He's better in zone.
Okay, he's good in zone. Okay.
Yeah.
Good in zone, not good in man. Okay. I hope we play into his strengths. That's all. Because I don't want to see this young corner. We leave Mount Island week 2 last year. Pepe, Jalen Armour Davis, and then he gets burnt. Because they did not recover from that, unfortunately.
Let's see. J Prime 235 says Dre says he's a sleeper. Okay. Dre knew about the draft going into this one, man. So I trust him. I believe him.
So I'll give this.
Yeah.
I think because it addressed the need, but at the same time, I don't think it's not going to be impact. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a day 1 impact. I'll give it a C to C plus. I do like him. And he looked good against, he was locking up Drake London, had some really good reps against Jordan Addison, which is promising. I know his pops played for the Buccaneers too. C plus.
I'm actually going B plus on this one.
Okay.
I actually like this pick. I think this is one of the more underrated picks of the draft. I mean, like you said, finally we got a corner, right? In round 5, pick number 157. we got a corner. But I like the type of corner that we got. I mean, we got a guy who is, kind of on the taller side, over 6 feet. He's got long arms, longer arms than normal. But the only drawback that he has that I saw, he has limited deep speed, right? So if he gets burned, if somebody runs by him, he's probably not going to be able to catch them, you know. But that's okay for me. That's okay because I know that we have a Marcus Williams and we have a Kyle Hamilton over the top. We're going to be able to help with that. So he is probably more beneficial to be used against a bigger body receiver, which we have a couple of those in our division. I mean, I think you could stick him on a T. Higgins. I think you could stick him on a George Pickens. I think that you could stick him on a couple of different guys, and he can actually hold his own. Granted, he gets some experience, some win underneath the cells in the NFL, of course, but I like this pick. I like this pick overall, and it's mainly because of the fact that he's a tall, long guy, and what he does, like at the point of catch, he gets his long arms in between the other guy, and he forces a lot of pass breakup. So I'll give this one a B plus for sure. It fills a need.
Yeah, and as you say more, I'm liking him more because you say like a T Higgins, yeah, can cover like a Tyler Boyd probably.
Yeah.
Team's third receivers, which I don't think it's the NFL, but we're not asking to guard a Jamar Chase off rip or asking to guard an Amari Cooper, So that makes me like a little bit more. Manuel's Cachano says Alex is simple. Is he Ladarius Webb or a Fabian Washington? 100%. Or is he like a Chris Carr? Chris Carr gives me nightmares. Burnt.
Yeah, burnt toast.
So was Dominique Foxworth when we signed him. I thought he was going to be really good, and then he was burnt.
He was pretty good on TV, not gonna lie.
Yeah, good on TV. And then, so. Looking at some comments. Jabari Cruzella says, what if the corners that were drafted in the 4th round last year is better than the second season this year? I hope so. I think Pepe has a dog in him. I'll say that. He has a dog in him.
Definitely plays like a Raven.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when Peters came back, he kind of just, sat down in the pecking order because Kyle Hamilton took over the slot cornerback spots, which is kind of why I still want to sign, and we will, a veteran defensive back.
Yeah, and Steven brings it up here, saying, I'm sure we're going to sign another one. Yeah, I think we are too. There's a couple guys on free agency that I think the Ravens are probably having their eye on right now. Rock Ya-Sin is like a popular one that a lot of Ravens fans are talking about.
Temple.
We'll see what happens with that, though.
Me personally, I'm a simple guy. I want Marcus Peters back. I feel like his attitude fits in the locker room. I hate being that like locker room guy, but what he brings, like he's that guy that if we're down by a touchdown and they're driving, I feel like he's that one guy who can turn it around with the interception. He reads it. I would definitely prefer 24 back on the Ravens.
We've seen it before. We've seen it time and time again with Marcus Peters, man. Making quarterbacks pay. Like
that playoff game, bro. Literally the playoff game we won, like they were, I hate to say it, but I felt like they were going to drive on us, and he sits there, read it, physical, catches it, game over, let you know.
And let's talk about that because they were about to drive on us. They were for sure about to march down the field. There's no doubt about it.
and the script, I hate to say the Arian Foster script, Justin Tucker missed a field goal in the postseason. I think it was like a 50-some yard. He missed it. And it was like, I think it was a one possession game, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was 17-10. So they're going down to drive, and I was nervous. But we know how the Ravens operate.
Yep. Let's see. Black Daniel's agreeing with you. Says same. Alex, give me the juice, man. For sure. But yeah, we were glad to get a corner finally in round 5. We thought we might have been getting one a little bit earlier, but to each his own. Yeah. Now let's see. We do have over 90 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for joining this episode of the show, the Purple Rain Podcast. If this is your first time listening in, welcome. You're now part of the hashtag Rain Gang. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we will move right along into the Ravens' next draft pick, which came in round number 6.
Yes.
Pick number 199, an offensive tackle. Hold on. Give me a second, Alex. Let me warm up my brain for this one. Malasala Omave Lawalu.
There we go.
Oregon.
Can we just call him Maul? Just MAL,
Mall, MAL.
like how
Okay.
mall defenders.
Sure. I like
Yeah.
that. I
Okay.
like that.
Well, the
Yeah.
good news is that the kids are eating tonight. 55 likes. They are
Okay.
eating, so that's some good news.
Yeah.
And some
Yeah.
other good news is that this is the same pick that Tom Brady was drafted in. So big shoes to fill.
Mm.
Uh, very big shoes. But I do like this pick. I'm seeing EDC's direction, and I'll talk about the next pick that we had too. I think our last two picks, they're obviously not for now; they're for the future. Um,
Yeah.
they're thinking about life after, I think, Morgan Moses, and maybe even, I hate to say it, Ronnie Stanley. Um, I know he was healthy. He's going to have his first healthy offseason in a minute, which is really good. But we can never have enough linemen,
Nope.
especially with our new $260 million quarterback taking
Right.
snaps. And I really don't hate it. This right here to me, solid C plus, B minus, however you want to put it. I don't. He's not going to get playing time. I hope he doesn't. But I think Daniel Falele came in last year, had some bad moments, but at the same time had some good moments. It's his second year, so he'll be above him. But getting this guy to play tackle, I really can't say anything bad about it.
Yeah. Me neither. I give it a solid B. You know, offensive tackle is one of those premium positions in football, just like wide receiver, just like quarterback. You need offensive tackle, and I think this is more of an investment than anything. Kind of like you were saying, probably not going to play this year. From what I was reading up on him, I mean, he does lack technique, but he's a huge guy. I mean, when you're talking like power runs and stuff like that, he can just serve as like a wall because he's just that big. I mean, look at the guy's name. Maybe I think he's from the islands or something like that. He's one of those guys, big guys,
Yeah.
big guys. So overall, I would give that pick a B, especially considering how late we picked him in the draft. So I don't hate it at all. I don't hate it at all. Let me see what the Rain Gang is thinking about that. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. We do have another super chat donation.
Oh,
This one coming from
oh,
Savix. Thank you so much, Savix, making it
thank you,
rain here
Savings.
on
Indeed.
episode 168 of the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate you, brother. Yo, I'm low key hyped. We got Dante Demas. I
Oh yeah.
wanted us to draft him in the 6th or 7th. I feel like he can low key be a stud wide receiver. Go ahead and talk about the Maryland product.
So I'm glad that you brought up some undrafted free agents because I love me some UDFAs. I think there's always some gems. You got to think about the Hall of Famers that went undrafted. You got your Kurt Warners, James Harrison. Um, I know you guys know a lot more than me. Those are the first two that come to my mind, especially Kurt Warner. Um, yeah, like these guys. To me, I read something. It's like if you're in the 7th round, you kind of want to go undrafted because you get to pick where you go. If it's like late 7th round, like the last couple of picks, you get to pick
Right.
where you want to go. You get to pick and see what situation fits you best. And as
Yeah.
for Dante Demas, I saw, he was going to be maybe like a day 2, day 3 pick, but he got hurt. So, and then just watching what this guy did at Maryland, it is about time we look down the road at Maryland and you see that they have all this talent. They had Bennett get drafted, and they had Deontay Banks get drafted, they had Nagari get drafted. We've seen Diggs go, DJ Moore go, and Ngakwe come out of there. They can get, they can scout talent. It's about time that we just look down there and we pick it up. So I am hyped for this. Got to make his money on special teams if he wants a
Yeah.
spot on this team, unfortunately.
Yeah. That is for sure. That is for sure. You have to come up through the ranks of special teams. If you're not like a number like round 1 or 2 or 3 receiver, then yeah. Special teams. Get ready to learn special teams, buddy.
Yeah,
All right.
unfortunately.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next and final pick of the Ravens draft in this year. So round 7, pick 229, the Ravens select offensive lineman Andrew Voorhees out of USC. Alex, what was your reaction to this?
So we traded back. We gave up a 2024 6th round pick to the Browns for this. The Browns just allowed us to get somebody who's going to be mauling their defensive linemen, linebackers, safeties, corners for the next 4 years, 4 or 5 years, however many years he plays with us. I want to give this honestly an A plus. Honestly, like this guy was, I think, projected to be day 2, I believe. He tore his ACL at the combine. With a torn ACL, bro put up 38 reps on the bench press. 38 with a torn ACL.
That's a lot of reps.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Like this dude, nasty. puts people into the dirt. Obviously, he's not the next, Marshall Yonder or anything. But what we are doing is preparing for life after one Kevin Zeitler, who it's hard to replace him. I do like what we did with this pick. Realistically, though, probably like an A minus. I was, over exaggerating with the A plus, but the fact that we did, go in there and swoop him up, protecting our $260 million investment, Andrew Voorhees, I like it.
I give it a B minus. Reason why I give it a B, like flat, is because I think it's an investment, just kind of like what we did last year with David Ajabo, kind of knowing that this guy just got hurt, but he was really good. He was projected to go much higher than what he did. So we're going to kind of put him on ice for now, and then when it's time for him to be healthy again, we'll be able to plug him right in. Reason why I give it a minus is because I've never been a huge fan of drafting guys who are just coming off of an I word.
Yeah.
So that's why I give it a B minus. But it is overall a net positive to invest in that offensive line a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
like that.
Let me see. Sports Gaming YouTube says Voorhees is great. YD says ACL tears can be nasty. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Cam the Baptist says Voorhees. He just needs the Jason mask for the nightmare he's going to be imposing.
Yeah.
Okay, so looks like we kind of like Voorhees. I give Andrew Voorhees from USC an A plus. Lisa says, okay. I like that. Asmodeus says an A plus. Okay, so we're you guys like him. That's good. That's good. We're gonna sit on him for like a year and see what he does next season, more than likely. So
and
that
round pick.
Yeah, I'm about to say that wraps up the Ravens draft. So overall, Alex, Rain Gang, Replay Gang, what would you give the Ravens as a grade for this draft?
B to B minus. I don't think we hit it out the park like sometimes we usually do, but maybe because I know some years I thought we would kill it. I'm seeing the media give us kind of like C plus, C flat. I'm like, okay, maybe that means like the potential they don't see it, but the potential shows. So I'll give it like a B to a B minus. I think we did hit some places that we need. Maybe the whole corner thing is kind of dragging me down. But when we come back to this next year and Zay Flowers, actually has like a really good year for a rookie receiver in the Ravens offense, I think our praises will change. So
yeah, I agree. I could definitely see B minus as well. C plus B minus range. Like you said, didn't hit it out of the park necessarily, but got a couple needs in there. And the thing that weighs most heavily is the first round pick. So that's gonna be Zay Flowers, of course. Just bringing him back up again, just kind of putting the cherry on top to that wide receiving core, Like we got Rashad Bateman, we got an Odell Beckham Jr., and now we're adding in a Zay Flowers. So literally Todd Monken has the pick of the litter when it comes to who he wants to go to on offense. Now, on paper, our wide receiving core looks very, very good, but we're one person getting hurt away from it being knocked down a step, so we'll just have to continue to see that. But I do like how this is kind of Zay Flowers is kind of like a little bit of insurance, So overall, pretty good draft. But we still have a couple of moves that probably need to be made in free agency, right?
No, I would try to take off the purple lenses too. I'm not sitting here trying to bash EDC. I think it's going to be a good draft, but at the same time, kind of got to step back, be realistic. That's why I gave the pick I did.
Yeah. You guys saying B plus? I see some A plus. Oh, Lisa says A plus. Perfect draft, huh? A minus, B, C. So we're kind of all over the place.
I like
B
that.
sliding scale for sure is the value will not present immediately. Yeah, I like that. KC says B. Raven Ron. What's going on, Raven Ron? Says C. Yeah. Okay. Rotten Raven says C. Only half of this Ravens draft class will be relevant in a few years.
It's crazy because look at 2019. The only person left from that is Justice Hill, and unfortunately, the tragedy that happened to Jalen Ferguson as well, because I think he would still be on the team. But yeah, when you think about it in that way, like which guys are still going to be here? Because apparently our first round picks don't make it past their rookie contract.
Yeah, that's the word on the street, right? Zach White says Simpson might be my favorite pick, not going to lie. Who's your favorite pick from this draft?
Kind of want to say Voorhees, but at the same time, like excitement factor, low key Zay Flowers.
Zay
Just looking at
Flowers,
what he was
man.
doing, I think I don't
Oh
want to be
yeah,
like the hype beast taking first round pick, but yeah. Now if I know we didn't have a second round pick, but probably my favorite player, BJ Ojolari, went to the Cardinals. That would have been if we somehow landed him and he fell to the third. That probably would have been my favorite pick. But
yeah.
I think Zay Flowers.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I definitely
What
say
about
Zay
you?
Flowers as well. I say Zay Flowers. I mean, like I said,
Okay.
it's the cherry on top to our receiving core. It's the one thing. I mean, us Ravens fans, we've been begging for years now. And so, not only did we go out in free agency and get a reliable wide receiver, we went in the draft and spent a first round pick on him. So, I think the Ravens are doing what they need to do in order to bolster that position.
Do we want to talk about some UDFA's real quick? Just
I was Yeah, you know what? We can talk about some UDFAs. I was gonna
just
say we
real
could save
quick.
him for the next one, but it's all good. Let's go ahead.
Okay. All right. So the Ravens, they do their due diligence with the undrafted free agents, which I do love me some UDFA's. So we talked about Dante Demas from Maryland, which I think we all are pretty happy about. I'm gonna
Yeah,
talk about guys that I know. Um, I don't know. So we have Ohio defensive tackle Kaim Caesar. Like some of these guys I have no idea about. Colorado State Pueblo defensive tackle Trey Botts. Don't know anything. Sorry. Southern defensive end Cameron Peterson. Connecticut center Jake Guidon. Kentucky offensive lineman Tayshawn Manning. Southern Miss offensive tackle Tykeem Doss. SMU offensive lineman Jalen Thomas. Oregon State offensive lineman Brandon Kipper. A lot of linemen. A lot of you know uh, needy
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
This one, son of former Raven, ECU running back Keaton Mitchell. You hear about this guy?
No.
Okay. After this stream, Keaton Mitchell from East Carolina, dude, I think is my pick to make it from a UDFA. I think he will show out in special teams. I think he will show out in the preseason. He has that burst. He's like kind of younger Justice Hill, low key, but a little bit more physical. So I
Keaton
like him a lot.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's
he's
going on,
he's
Gerald?
G Money. How's it
Appreciate
going?
you for coming through, brother.
How's it
Yeah.
going?
But Keaton Mitchell. Shuku agrees with you here, says Keaton Mitchell highlights are insane.
Bro,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
nasty.
Mitchell's another J.K. Dobbins. Am I missing it here?
Bro,
Am I missing it?
he's at the same time like
Black Daniel said if Black Daniel stamps it, then I gotta
bro,
check it out.
he has that Raven. He's Anthony Mitchell's son, that Raven bloodline. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Love it.
Okay. I'll check it out. Normally, I'm not into UDFAs until uh, probably whenever he tells me about him. My guy Alex, because he's locked in with all the videos. By the way, if you guys were not on YouTube this past weekend, go on Simply AS10's YouTube channel. Number one, he's gotten over 1 million views in this past weekend, and he's got any player. If you're listening to this, watching this right now, and you are a fan of any team in the league, man, he's got videos for damn near everyone. Everybody who's of importance, he's got videos for him. So make sure you go and check out those videos on Simply AS10 YouTube
Thank you.
channel. And also check out the TikTok. I'm gonna keep
The
plugging the
TikTok.
TikTok. It's my
I
favorite thing
have
going right now. So
I've
check
been
out the
slacking on the
TikTok.
TikTok, but thank you. I've been slacking big time on the TikTok. Thank you. So thank you, Black Bears. Thank you, K Dog. Tell you what, they got the best of me. I made so this there we got a tight end out of Shepherd, D2, Brian Walker. I went to the pits of hell to find his highlights. The pits, bro. D2
Yeah.
football. There's no replays. There's literally no clock on the scoreboard. It's just the score. There's no clock. Doesn't tell you what quarter they're in, what time it is. Bro, pits of hell.
Big
We
research.
yeah. We got UTSA cornerback Corey Mayfield Jr., another one. He looks like a little bit of a ball hawk. He could be a guy that we stash away. And then we got this is interesting. Delaware quarterback Nolan Henderson. Some people said he was like a mix of Tyler Huntley and Trace McSorley put together. He did some good things for Delaware in the CAA. Pretty familiar with that conference. But yeah, I mean, I think Dante Demas was the best one out of all of them. Him and Mitchell.
Yeah.
Those two. It's those two, I think, than like everybody else.
and I'll have to look into Keaton Mitchell a little bit more. But what I did see
Bro.
from Dante Demas was promising. UDFA's, those are the type of guys who, getting closer to like training camp and preseason, will really be hyping those guys up because we'll get to see those guys showcased. So yeah, we'll talk more about the UDFA's in some future episodes. But that is gonna do it for the draft. Now, let's go ahead and touch on the other thing we came here to talk about. Patrick Queen. So today news came out that the Ravens are declining to pick up Patrick Queen's fifth-year option. So basically that means that after this season, Patrick Queen will be a free agent. So what listen, it hurts to even say, because everybody knows Patrick Queen is a friend of the channel, friend of the show. He's been on the show multiple times, man. And it sucks to know that the Ravens are willing to let him walk, despite him getting better, each and every season. But what they did with, what's his name, Roquan Smith, kind of makes this move a little bit inevitable. So I don't know. What do you think, though?
I have like an opinion I feel like is not popular, and I would get like ratioed for it. And maybe it's just because like I said, I am biased. It just sucks that I feel like the writing was on the wall, unfortunately. And him saying that he missed a tackles and that last year and the year before, that's a valid point. This year, his missed tackle percentage was the lowest of his career. Even before Roquan came in, he was playing only weeks 3 and 4 were his worst games. And even week 3, he picks that ball off against the Patriots. We're not talking about that. In both games, he dropped an interception. He picks off as those picks in those 2 games. It's a whole different season for Patrick Queen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, and
that's absolutely true.
Yeah, and calling him soft, calling this and that. One thing I'll say about Patrick Queen as a person is that when he was on here, we talked about what game was he looking forward to the most. Everybody could have said the Bengals. They whipped their ass in 2021. What stood out to me was he picked the Steelers because he never beat them. To me, that was a true Raven, caring more about the rivalry than the team. That he's already beat them, wanted to beat them in Pittsburgh, and I respected that a lot. I hope we pay him. I don't think we will, and that really hurts me to say. I feel like, I was looking at the how much money the linebackers are making and the guys that are kind of around that area. I think he's better than some of them. Tremaine Edmonds, I think, making $18 million a year is, part of my French, fucking blasphemy. I have no idea how he got that bag. No idea. Like, I'm sorry. I have no idea how he got 18 mil when he played the worst game or one of his worst games in the playoffs on the prime time. The lights, they're too bright for him.
Yeah.
But yeah. How do you feel?
Pretty much exactly how you feel, bro. Totally unfortunate. Like I said, he's a friend of the show. He's been on the show multiple times, and he's told us, he's locked in with the Ravens. You can tell he likes being a Raven. We were just starting to enjoy the relationship that him and Roquan Smith were developing together. I think that they, would have been really, really good as a linebacking tandem. But, it's money talks, and they gave a lot of money to Roquan Smith. So it just really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I guess, to keep Queen's contract on the books. And that's probably why they went out and drafted a Trenton Simpson. But like we were saying earlier in the episode, maybe it's not for Patrick Queen. Maybe it's for Tyus Bowser. You never know. And if you're just joining, we have over 100 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys. Hello, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. But yeah, like we said a little bit earlier in the episode, Trenton Simpson is a kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to the linebacking position. So is Tyus Bowser. So maybe they got Trenton Simpson to replace Tyus Bowser and not Patrick Queen. Who knows? And maybe Patrick Queen completely just balls out of control this year. Maybe he does start catching those picks, right? Becoming more of an opportunist. And then they might have to pay him. You never know. We'll see. We'll see. But
my big thing is, what edge rush are we going to pay? Because he had more sacks than some of our edge rushers did last year. Their jobs are to get the quarterback and sack the quarterback. He had 5 sacks, more than some of those guys. Yeah. And 2 picks. And 9 tackles for losses. And he had a missed tackle percentage. I'm looking up right here. Let me look up the advance for 2022. 7.1%. Down, I think it was like 22 in 2021. Improved vastly, even before Roquan came. So, I don't know, man. And people saying like, oh, well, our second round pick is Roquan Smith. Doesn't that make you feel better, bro? $20 million a year. We're not paying no second rounder $20 million a year. And again, I know it is Roquan Smith, but
Yeah.
$20 million a year is a whole lot of money. So
Yeah,
hope it works
definitely
out.
gonna be expecting a lot out of Roquan this year for sure. The contract warrants it. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and we can get into some questions from the
Indeed.
Rain Gang from the live chat. And if you're not watching this live and you're part of the hashtag Replay Gang, thank you guys so much for joining this episode. Make sure you leave your questions down below in the comment section because we do get to those too, guys. We do get to
We
those
have
too.
71 likes. What the?
Woo!
What? Oh my goodness!
Loving it, man. Love the love from you guys tonight. We really do appreciate it. Lisa says, "Who's going to take Chuck Clark's spot, guys?"
I mean, it's hard to replicate his brains. I hope Gino gets more snaps. I thought Gino has impressed me when he plays. Hell, it could be Trenton Simpson. The way he plays everywhere around the ball on the defense.
Yeah. He's also a good communicator as well. Trenton Simpson is. So, I mean, are we talking about like green dot status?
Oh, I don't think yet. Not yet. I wonder who gets it this year.
That's what I'm
Roquan
thinking.
or Marcus Williams. I think one of those two.
Roquan or Marcus Williams. Who gets the green dot this year, guys? Throw that answer in the chat.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's see what else you guys. Taquan Christian says, "How about Steph Curry?" Ooh, I mean, yeah. How about it? 50 points, 50 points, man. And apparently, he had a talk with like the Warriors like the night before the game. And was like basically saying like, "Yo, like we got to wake the fuck up, guys. I mean, like we're going to Game 7 with the Kings here. Like I'm not trying to lose this shit." And he was like, "If nobody else is gonna step up, I'm gonna step up," and that's exactly what he did, man. And it's just so amazing that like Steph Curry is able to do what he does at such a high level at being his size. You know, he's not as physically as imposing as LeBron or Giannis or Embiid, but he can consistently get to his spot. He's the best shooter of all time. And he's, quite frankly, maybe a top 5 player of all time, you know, when it's all said and done, especially if he wins one this year. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I saw one. King said Arsenal are choking. King, they are. That's why I never said they were going to win the title because I know they were going to choke. So,
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah. Bro, it's, once you give up hope, can't get hurt anymore. The hope's gone. So, I'm just kicked back, chilling, enjoying the ride.
Yeah. Let me see. Shuku says, "Would you rather have Marcus Peters or Rock Ya-Sin under Mike McDonald?"
Good one.
How old is Rock Ya-Sin?
I think
young guy, ain't he?
26, I believe.
Oh, not that young.
26.
Okay. And Peters is what, 31?
Is 30.
30. Okay. Yeah. For me, I mean, I would probably still go Marcus Peters just because he's familiar with our system. He's familiar with our culture. And, we really only need Marcus Peters for those, like, kind of those boom or bust plays. And I hate to say it that way, but, like, that's what his kind of claim to fame is, kind of luring quarterbacks into mistakes and then popping out and getting, pick sixes and things like that. So I'd rather go with Marcus Peters, to be honest with you, and just continue trying to draft. Maybe, hey, I don't know, maybe try drafting cornerback with a higher draft pick. I don't know. That's just me. All right. Let's see what other questions we have. Manuel's College Channel says, "Who will take it all, Curry or LeBron?"
I saw your short. I'm agreeing with you.
Curry. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going with the Warriors in 6 in that one. So I think it's gonna be a great series, though. It's gonna be a great series. Anthony Davis is gonna have a lot to do with that series as well. Be on the lookout for him. But Curry and LeBron going back and forth is gonna be just absolutely beautiful. We got Celtics and Sixers that comes on in like 10 minutes. I don't think Embiid is playing tonight. But you also have the Suns and Nuggets coming on later tonight as well. That should be fireworks. Suns are definitely gonna want to be trying to come back after that first loss. All right. Let me see what else you guys have here. We'll take a couple more questions. We have one from Damon A1s. It says, "Zay Flowers, is he the best rookie wide receiver in the draft?"
I can't sit here and say yes because I was sitting here hyping up JSN. So
Yeah.
let me not be biased. Yeah, I'm not
Right.
gonna sit here
Right.
and drink the purple Kool-Aid.
Here's an interesting one. Manuel's Cloud Channel, Alex, Shamar Bridges, or Dante Demas?
That's a good one. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
a
a
tough
coin
one
flip. It's a coin flip.
for sure. Because we saw what Shamar Bridges was able to do in training camp and in preseason, shades of the
Right.
preseason as well. We haven't really seen what Dante Demas can do in a Ravens uniform just yet. But it'd be interesting to see what happens when they all get together and they start working out. We do have a super chat donation. This one's coming from Chike, making it rain here at the last minute, man, at the buzzer beater. It's a buzzer beater.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chike. We appreciate you, man. Because if we don't make the AFC Championship game, should someone be sacked, aka fired?
I think so.
Mm,
It won't happen, but I
won't
think
happen.
we expect I think a high standard around here. And I think the investment that we've made in these now premium positions, I think we should be seeing more success. And I'm tired of excuses. I know there was the I word in 2021. The excuse last year is that our QB went down. Even that, we were in a position to win a playoff game,
Yeah,
and you really thought a QB sneak at the what 2 yard line was really the answer.
don't remind me.
It's literal stuff like that which really makes me question John Harbaugh sometimes, and I hate that. He's done great things for us, but sometimes your time is up. I hope he has that one final run this year and we really do it. I hope.
Yeah,
But my goal, honestly, with this team now is like AFC Championship. I think we got to make it. Looking at what we have in the offense, like I saw King say, like he's actually excited for the first time about this offense. I'm right there with you. Like Nelson Aguilar as like our 4. Who would have thought we'd be saying that? Like Nelson Aguilar.
you're right. You're
He
right.
was just I think 1,000-yard receiver. I think with the Raiders I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Harbs would definitely be on the hot seat for sure if we did not make the AFC Championship game. Shuku and King kind of ask a similar question. Which wide receivers do you think we are keeping?
So we know Bate, Odell, Aguilar, Flowers. 4 right
That's
there.
4. Yep. Duvernay.
You got to think Duvernay for returns.
Yeah.
So that
That's 5.
leaves Prochet Wallace,
Yep.
Dante Demas, Benjamin Victor, Shamar Bridges, and Andy
Andy
Isabella.
Isabella.
Yeah, is he even real?
Right.
All those guys. That's 6
I
people.
think you got to give the nod to Prochet or Wallace, no?
I think Wallace. Right now, I got to give Wallace
I think
because
Wallace too. Yeah.
as a
Special
gunner,
teams.
yep.
Yep.
Solid
Yeah.
on special teams.
I agree, and we just simply have not been able to see what he can offer on offense. I mean, the few times that we have seen him like catch the ball in open field or something like that, he's made something happen. He's made the most out of it. So
No penalties. No
exactly.
drops.
So right. So yeah, Tyler Brown says 100 likes. Let's run it up. Are we at 100 likes?
24 more. We're at 97 people watching, 76 likes. And man,
Okay.
we smashed the goal already. So anything now is just
Yeah.
an added bonus.
We appreciate you guys. We love the Rain Gang. We love all of you guys watching the replay gang. We appreciate it. If you haven't already liked the video, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so as well, as we have over 100 people watching. Raven Ron says, Prochet out of here. That bum. No, you can't say Prochet's a bum. You can't say he's a bum. Come on.
I'm a big Prochet fan. I just don't want to sound like a broken record. Well, give him a chance. I feel like this is really all he has left. And if not, those cuts come soon. So we'll see how it goes with him.
I feel like Prochet could go to another team and thrive, man. I really do. I really with how sure his hands are, like I don't know. His separation may not be the best, man, but like if the ball is in his vicinity, he's gonna go grab it. And I get it. You probably don't want to target him as much if you do see a receiver kind of close to him because he's not the biggest guy. He doesn't really look like he has the best catch radius. But if you got a good quarterback, man, you can put it where it needs to be. Prochet can go and get it, man. So Yeah, we'll see what happens with Prochet, but I hope something good comes out of his career, man. I really do.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him.
So, yeah. So, guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and leave it there for this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 168. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Listen, if you're just joining the stream and you wanted to hear everything we said about the draft, make sure you just hit that rewind button, take it on back, man, and just listen back to what we said, man, because we said a lot of good stuff. Alex he made a lot of good points that I didn't really like pay attention to until he told me. So, yeah, make
Hey,
sure you guys
and you did
rewind.
too. Your grades, about Caillou Blue Kelly. I just think of the Caillou, like the show Caillou, like the little ball kid. Yeah, I think I think of that when I hear his name. So that's kind of cool. King says Prochet snake bitten by that terrorist. There's the watch list. On the watch list, where does he fall? All right, where does he? We have like the leader ISIS. Where does Roman fall?
Craig Roman, yeah, he's top 5 for sure.
And where's
Top
Steve
5.
Saunders? I mean, I don't want him to get out of this without any, shots.
Steve Saunders, man, he's top 2 and possibly not 2. To be honest with you, bro, with what we were going through for the longest. Jesus Christ! All right,
Man.
so we're gonna go ahead and leave it there. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at Sutton Def or on Twitter. On Twitter, you can find this guy over here at SimplyAS10, on Instagram at SimplyAS10.prod. And like we led the episode with, listen, guys, you can go on Manscaped.com. Go on Manscaped.com, use our code PRP, save yourself 20% off. Plus, you get free shipping as well on all of their products, not just 1 or 2 items, all of their products, guys. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Yeah, and just from my personal heart, thank you guys. We really do appreciate you guys coming through, especially in the off season when there's no football being played and you guys out here. We still got 100 people watching live. Like, we love to see it. We love to see it. So, love you guys from the bottom of my heart. And with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Yeah, I really can't. I can't match that by any chance. But yeah, honestly, thank you so much. It's the off season. Our brains will get thinking of things to talk about. And hey, one positive thing: no Lamar contract now. So that's all last summer was about. So think about that. That's positive.
We're done
stuff.
with that.
So we'll be thinking about what would his offense look like? We'll be getting like Odell fit picks, and it'll be cool. It'll be fun summer. But thank you for coming through at episode 168 of the Purple Rain Podcast. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever forget to call God, man. This has been episode 168 of the Purple Rain Podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.